And you obviously got confirmation from UEFA this week that the winners of the Scottish League will go directly into the group stage. I mean, just how much will that allow you to build for next season, if indeed you guys get over the line?
Yeah, I guess it's a great opportunity for us. Not just to, I guess, a build, but also kind of structure our whole pre-season program a little bit differently than we have in recent years. So there's a whole host of things that come along with it, and should we get over the line and get direct qualification, I think it gives us a real good opportunity for to really strategically plan the next season with some certainty.
If you win this weekend and another result goes your way, obviously be crowned champions. Does it bother you how you win, when you win?
No, look, I mean, I think from my perspective, I said during the week, we want to finish strong, and when we want to play as well as we possibly can in these last 3 games, starting tomorrow, and if that coincides with us, getting the prize, then great. But ultimately, we're still in a position where we need to play well and in the last 3 games, and like I said, starting tomorrow and get the results we need. Thanks, mate.
Alison.
Hi, Ange. It's another Manager of the Month award for you as well. I know you'll credit your whole backroom team with this one again, won't you?
Yeah, look, again, I mean, I don't want people to sort of think it's some sort of gimmick on my behalf. It's what we're about. People working hard every day, not just myself. And I think when you win an individual award, but you're very sort of cognizant of the fact that you're just part of a greater group. It's important, I think, that all the people who put in all the hard work on a daily basis also get that recognition. But again, I think it's reflective of just how consistent we've been, particularly since the break, and that's a credit to everyone involved.
I know you said there it's about performances in the last few games, and is that important for your players to remember to not get caught up in the ifs and buts of what can happen in the next few games?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's only natural, I guess, with you're dealing with human beings, and whether that's players, staff, our supporters, everyone has a sense of expectation, and I'm sure there's a lot of it where we think, well, let's just we just want to get over the line, but I think that we've got 3 games and an opportunity to put on some strong performances and create some more memorable moments for ourselves, and I think always reminding ourselves of why we're in this place, in this position in the first place, and that is through focusing on our performances, respecting every opponent, trying to play our best football every game, and that's why we're here, and that shouldn't change just because we're inside of the finish line.
Thanks, Alison. Clive.
Hi, Ange. Just going back to the Champions League, potential money. Obviously, if you clinch a title and get to the group stage, it could boost your income by more than sort of £40 million. And I'm just wondering whether that will allow you to do anything different that or change targets at all. Now that you've got that you get that extra money, and will it improve the chances of keeping the likes of 𝙁𝙁𝙧𝙚 and Cameron Carter-Vickers?
Look, I guess from my perspective, the planning doesn't really change. My view was that we've had to rebuild the squad this year. We've had to sort of change things fairly drastically because they needed to. It wasn't like we had the option. I mean, the reality of it is we lost a lot of players from last year. That the kind of team had been together for a while and got to an end of a cycle, so we had to make those changes, and this was sort of the first stage of the build, and irrespective of kind of what we were doing next year in terms of competitions, we wanted to strengthen. That was always in the planning, so that really hasn't changed. We know the areas we need to strengthen both on and off the field, and we've identified the areas that we need to recruit players in and get the squad to be stronger. So I don't think being in the Champions League changes that too much from my perspective. It may make us a more attractive proposition for players who want to come to our club. That might be an extra carrot that, you know, opens up another market for us. But, you know, it's not like, you know, we go from being the club we are to sort of a club that, you know, will spend at a different level. There's still, you know, certain disciplines around that, and my belief always has been that you have a plan and you try and stick to it irrespective of sort of what comes your way, and it's proved successful for us this year, and we want to sort of replicate the success we've had in the transfer market next year by making sure we identify the right type of player rather than just, you know, looking for players in a different sort of price bracket.
Your turn, 𝙘𝙤𝙣𝙛𝙚.
Yeah, again, nothing's really changed. You know, we're in discussions with them, obviously, and you know, as I said all along, if with these kind of things, it's not never a simple process. But you know, both the lads have had unbelievable years for us and been outstanding contributors, and you know, both are really happy here. And you know, our intent is to try and keep them at our football club. But with all these things, you need you know, a point where all parties agree, and you know, I'm hopeful we'll get to that point, but at this point, you know, we're not quite there yet.
Hi, Ange. Just staying on the European theme, we just wanted to ask you about Rangers reaching the Europa League final. Now, what are your thoughts on it? But moreover, what does it say about the level of Scottish football? And also, what does it say about the level of your team that you know, you're 6 points ahead of a team that are into European final?
Yeah, look, you know, I think they've done awfully well, and I think they deserved it last night over the two legs. I think they were the better team and deserved to be in the final, and they've been really strong in Europe all year. I mean, it's, you know, it's been a tough week for them with the passing of Jimmy Bell, and obviously, you know, whenever you work inside a football club, you know, when you lose somebody as you know, been such an integral part of the fabric, you know, it must have been a really you know, tough week for particularly the players and the staff who have dealt with him. But yeah, I thought you know, they deserved to get through the final, and you know, I think it says that they're a very good football team, which I think they proved last year by going through the season undefeated, which is no mean feat, and this year with their strong performances in, you know, pretty much all the competitions. So you know, for us, I knew that was, you know, probably going to be our biggest challenge this year, was apart from our own sort of form and how we performed, you know, if we were going to be successful, we had to overcome a pretty formidable opponent.
Yeah, and obviously they are through to the final. I'm not expecting you to say that you hope they win it, but it's now a very real possibility that there could be two Scottish teams in the group stage of the Champions League next season. That would be brilliant for the Scottish game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, definitely, and I think both clubs would have earned it.
Gavin?
And it's just on that Champions League spot. I mean, it's obviously confirmed now that the league winners will win there, but there's always the kind of probability. Did that, I don't know if it's possible to add any extra pressure as a Celtic manager going for the title, but did it add a wee bit of pressure that, you know, it was such an important thing to get?
I don't know pressure, but I definitely saw it as an opportunity. I mean, it was pretty evident early on that, you know, whoever won, you know, the league this year, there was a good chance they'd go straight to the group stage. And, you know, I saw it as you know, as a great opportunity for us, particularly, you know, after having a disappointing last year, and, you know, a great opportunity to not only have success this year, but also guarantee us, you know, an opportunity to play in the strongest competition in Europe. So I definitely saw it as, you know, very timely for us if we could get everything right and win the competition this year, that it was an extra carrot for sure.
Just on Saturday's game, obviously Hearts are coming with nothing to lose really, and obviously players that get cup final places to play for. Does that make them a pretty dangerous opponent, and given as well that they've been a good challenge so far? Yeah,
look, I think irrespective of that, they've had a strong season. You know, they've been really solid in that sort of third position and by a decent gap to the rest of the field. So they've been consistent all year, and every game we've had against them have been good games. So I think irrespective of they're in the cup final or not, I think it will be a good challenge for us. But again, we sit where we are because of our own form and our own performances, and we've had to overcome some pretty determined challenges even in recent weeks. I think the last sort of 3 games we've played against teams who have been in really good form, and we've managed to get through them really well. So that's our task again tomorrow, to make sure we prepare to play against a tough opponent, but knowing that if we perform at the levels we can overcome that.
Yes.
Cheryl?
Hi, Ange. You've touched on it earlier there about strengthening the squad for next season. What do you think this squad needs to get to the next level?
Well, look, there's a number of areas where I think this year we particularly the early part of the year we probably didn't have the depth and quality in certain positions to be able to carry the workload of having a 60-game season, and we're still sort of in the stages of really developing our players and developing our game style, and for me there's still areas within without specifying positions, there's still areas where I think we can have some more quality, both in terms of our depth but also in terms of the levels of performances we put in. So there won't be the amount of activity that we had last year, but I think the activity we have this year will be significant in that I think we're going to bring hopefully players that will improve us immediately, rather than sort of bring players in who are just add to the squad.
And Hearts, they obviously have the Scottish Cup final on the horizon, and they're already confirmed. So do you expect a different style from them, or something different to what you've already played this season?
No, not really. I think their approach won't change. I mean, obviously, they can play probably a bit freer, without sort of major consequences on a negative result for them. So, I guess whenever you play a team like that, there's always the possibility that they may be a little bit more aggressive or expansive. But I think they've been pretty disciplined about their approach all year in the way they play their football, and we don't expect to see too much of a change tomorrow.
David? How you doing?
Hi, Ange.
Hey, mate.
And 52 years ago today, and Celtic played in our second European Cup final. Like yourself, Jockstein arrived at the club when we were struggling, but within a few seasons, it turned us into the champions of Europe. Have you studied how Jock managed to do that, and is following in his footsteps on the European stage your ultimate ambition as the Celtic manager?
Oh, look, I'm well aware of sort of, the background of, Jockstein's reign here at Celtic and in Scottish football, but I'm probably the only one who's studied that pretty closely. And if it was just a matter of studying it and repeating it, I think others would have done. So, I think it's a little bit more sort of intricate than that. My ambitions for this football club is to make it the best football club it can possibly be, and play at the highest possible level, and that means that we've got to be always challenging for success domestically and making an impact in Europe, and whatever level we're at, and from my perspective that's the ambition, to make us the strongest possible team we can be, and to make a consistent impact in Europe, and for that to happen, it's not something that, like most other clubs, it takes a little while to build it to that stage, but that's the ambition.
And the Celtic support believe you're building something special, Ange. But how would winning the league and getting into the Champions League group stages in your first season, given the situation last season, rank amongst all your achievements in the game previously?
Look, it's hard for me to sort of articulate that until we do it. You just don't know until that feeling hits you. I know it's been an enormous challenge this year for sure, not just for me, for everyone involved, and for a number of reasons. Should we be successful, I'm sure, from my perspective, when I reflect on it, I'll know the enormous effort that's been put in to get us to that space. But for me to start thinking about that before we've actually achieved it, well, I can't do that. I'm just not wired that way, and I think you'll get a much better sort of response from me and a much more sort of true or natural response, after we achieve it, as to sort of my feelings on it.